This request is grounded in constitutional reasoning and recent legal precedent. Our Supreme Court has long held that the Ten Commandments have both religious and secular significance. They are, they are foundational to America's legal system of justice, ethics, and moral fabric. Displaying them alongside of other historic documents such as the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, would serve as an educational purpose, not as an endorsement of any religion. Posting the Ten Commandments would promote positive character traits such as honesty, respect, and personal responsibility, values that benefit all students regardless of personal beliefs. In May of 2025, President Trump signed an executive order number 14291 establishing the Religious Liberty Commission, which would identify any federal agencies that use separation of church and state biased against Christian targeting. There's historical and civic significance to the Ten Commandments have shaped the moral and legal traditions of the West over 3,000 years. Concepts such as prohibition of murder, theft, perjury, and the duty to honor parents appear in virtually every major Western legal code. America founders and early educators treated these principles as part of the shared moral inheritance of a free people. Displaying them is compatible to displaying the Magna Carta, Mayflower Compact, the Declaration of Independence, or the Constitution, documents that also contain religious language and assumptions but are treated as historical rather than sectarian. Schools already teach about the role of religion in American history, including the influence of the Bible on founding generations. Refusing to display the Ten Commandments while freely discussing their historical impact creates an artificial and incoherent standard. If the goal is genuine neutrality, the solution is not to erase the document that most shapes our moral vocabulary, but to present it honestly as part of our civic inheritance. We can incarcerate or imprison people for breaking the law, so we should be willing to post the law in our school. Public schools routinely promote values such as honesty, respect for others, personal responsibility, and the dignity of human life. The Ten Commandments articulate these same principles in their classic form. A society that claims to care about the character education should not be embarrassed by the oldest, most concise statement of those principles. In conclusion, posting the Ten Commandments is not an establishment of religion. It is acknowledging the historical fact and the continued contribution to moral literacy. When presented as a foundational civic historic document rather than a tool of religious instruction, it falls within the constitutional bounds and serves a legitimate educational purpose. So I made a presentation to our community, and I have for you the signatures of 107 people in our community that support the initiative. There are a couple on here that signed that were out-of-towners because I set up a station at the grocery store, and a few people that came through at the store were out-of-towners. But I would say 99% of them are local citizens. So, I'll give it to the chairman. Any questions?
No questions, thank you. You were first.
I'm first?
Now you're second. Come on up, buddy. No, you're good, Corey.
Do I need to stand up for this thing?
Yep. got your.
Yep.
And got briefed or whatever. So yeah, my son right now attends Trina Walden's, sorry, brain fog. Daycare here in the school. We had one day, a few days that were really hot, but one day I was sent a picture of her thermometer in her room. It was 89 degrees in her classroom. She's got no outside ventilation, no windows in her location. I guess my concern, we're having a newborn coming this fall, is for next summer. I don't know the infrastructure of the school, how the HVAC systems work, the air handlers. So I was kind of hoping to learn a little bit more about that, and maybe we could come up with some solution, because I think we could all agree that 90 degrees isn't acceptable. I did talk to you, gave me a call promptly. I really appreciate that. Makes you feel like you're being taken seriously and heard. One thing you said that I thought a little bit about was, well, she's leasing from us, so it's kind of up to her to figure out something. And I thought on that for a little while, and it's kind of like, well, so technically you're the landlord in this situation. So I think it kind of falls on everybody maybe coming together to find a solution, not simply saying, you're renting the space, it's your problem. I think the school is kind of too big for someone to figure that out. We talked about portable units. Everyone that I've looked up, many different models, everything seems you got to have some kind of outside ventilation for, so that's kind of where my search has stopped. Aside from somehow running wiring to a mini split on the outside somewhere and having a wall mounted unit. So I guess I was just kind of seeing if anybody else had any advice, any input, any suggestions. I think something's got to be done for these kids. I think it's become kind of a big part of the school now as far as the daycare goes. I think it helps the school as well as it helps the parents a ton. There's really no other options in town right now. It's really tough. So I don't know what any options would be. I guess that's my biggest question is any input from the janitorial staff, the maintenance staff on some different options that we could look at.
Just, if you don't mind, a couple questions, Corey. Just so I understand, maybe help other people understand. When you put your request in to come and talk to the board, that's the first time I had heard about the issue. And
Okay.
Same.
And is it fair to say, and I did meet with Scott briefly on this, it's my understanding that that was kind of the first time that he heard about this concern too, right? So that's part of it was, okay, so you're coming in here, which you absolutely can do and share it with us. If this was the first time that I've heard about it and the board's heard about it, and the first time that, you brought the attention, to Scott, I would just, my personal thought right now would be just continue to work for solutions with our superintendent. 89, I'm not gonna disagree with you. I don't have solutions off the cuff for you right now, but I think that further conversation, we can get on the same page with something, but.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know what steps to take as well.
I'm just making sure that I'm understanding that there wasn't something kind of going on, or you had history with prior superintendents. Was it brought up before? No?
No,
Okay.
Trina's brought it up to me a few times. Basically, some people aren't confrontational and they don't want to
That's fine, yeah.
rock the boat. I think there might be some turmoil with different aspects of the
We're not gonna
child
go into
care
that.
in the school.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. So it was kind of just brought up to me, and with my kids in it, I'm going to bring it to whatever level I don't mean to go above anybody's head here. I'm just trying to
Fair. Yeah.
find out what we could do. You know what I mean?
Corey, if you don't mind, I would say that this is a huge first step for you, all right? Just bringing it to our attention and bringing it to, you didn't go over anybody's head going to the super about it. That's what he's here for. We're here to listen to the community, listen to, you know, parents like you that are concerned about different things that are within that. I don't think that there's gonna be a solution that we're gonna come up with today.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
I mean, but there's it's started the path, down a path of let's talk about this, let's see what we've got, and what it is that this school can do, and then get back with you or however that might be. But like they were stating, this is the first time we've heard about that. No, it got hot this year, right? And so just some things that we need to work through and see what we can do, and if there is a solution, by all means, we're going to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Is
like I
that
said,
fair?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm kind of trying to get ahead of it. Obviously now it's cooling down.
Well, yeah,
Everything's
summer will be here before we know it.
exactly. It's
right?
more to get ahead of it for next year
Yeah.
to maybe. And like I said, I mean, we're gonna have a 6-month-old next year, and that
Yeah.
now it goes from really hot and not fun for the kids to dangerous, and that's kind of the level we're trying to avoid. And we'd like to keep sending them here. And Trina's awesome with the kids. We love her. So just kind of trying to find a balance,
Yep.
not pointing fingers, not any of that stuff. If we could figure out something to keep the kids a little more comfortable,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
Not taking it that way at all.
Perfect.
I mean, it's his concerned father. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
And yeah.
Okay, so
Well, thank
then
you.
should I work with superintendent and the staff a little bit more then, or what, I guess,
Well,
what path
so
do we go from here?
there's a few of us that are on the facilities board. I'm one of them, and you're one, and Craig's one, and so we've heard you. And Scott, I don't know, you have something to add there? Or?
I was just gonna say too, making sure we're including Trina, because Trina has not brought the issue yet, which is, yeah. So I think
provider,
It's important for her to be part of this conversation as we dig in deeper.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll chat with her too then about it and let her know that I told her I was coming and she was aware of that, so.
But certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, all right, thanks guys.
Thanks,
Right.
Corey.
Thank you.
Real quick, one comment I have to make, you kind of alluded to it. It was actually the school who invited the daycares into the school. So just so everybody knows, that's how the daycares actually came here. We invited them in. So.
All right. Great. Thank you. Okay, moving on, finance review.
So the Finance Committee met with Todd Netsky again here this evening at 5:30. I've got a brief synopsis of as we closed out the year, June 30th of 26, closed out the fiscal year. The one thing that you'd see on your budget sheets is that our property taxes ended up coming in higher than expected, which means then some of your state revenue ends up being less because of where you have equalization aids and such. So you can see where our state revenue ended up being a little lower, but our property taxes were higher, which a little bit more than offset the difference, right? So at the end of the year, the way we end up there is that we're actually on our revenues, $47,890 more than what we had budgeted or anticipated. On expenditures, as we look at our expenditures for the end of the year, and again, this is not audited yet, that'll happen the end of September, but we are at 97.1% of our budget. So our revised budget, we were looking at being about $421,000 ahead or below on expenditures. Right now it looks like we're going to be about $678,000 below on expenditures. So some people right away might ask, well, what happens with that money? Well, again, those are monies that go towards rebuilding our reserve funds as well. So then if we flip the sheet over and look at our other funds, We can see with food service, community education, and then our debt service, of course, we're actually running ahead on those things, with the exception of community education. Our expenditures were a little, we're a little under, a little under what was on our revised budget. Oh, I'm sorry, a little over, 6,966 above, but food service we were under, and so just in general on everything we're looking really good. The one thing Todd did mention, he said there wasn't any one area where we were really under budget. It was a lot of little places where we're under budget, so that just kind of, I think reiterates, or it does reiterate just a healthy approach in terms of the staff and everybody. So yeah, so that's coming in very well. Any questions? We are scheduled for the audit September 28th through 30th, so that's all on target to get done at that time.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Superintendent Fitzsimmons.
So a quick update on construction. Roof work, of course, was all completed, successfully inspected, and the inspection is actually done by the manufacturer of the product so that it can be warranted, and they gave a glowing review of the work that was done there. Our flooring is complete. They did come back, of course, and finish up the trim along the floor and caulking and some of those things, so that is all done. Window replacement is complete with the sills and the caulking and everything. The only piece we're waiting on is Wednesday. The blinds are supposed to be, they are roller blinds, they're supposed to be delivered, and they're looking at installing those starting right away on Wednesday, hopefully finishing by end of day on Friday, or might go into Saturday. So then we're all done. Concrete work actually is complete now. As I already talked about the window roller blinds, we did do a punch list walkthrough, so we do have a punch list of some items. They're very minor, some caulking in some areas, a couple other things. One thing Widseth did make note of is on the front walkway. You're all probably familiar where that clean out cover is. That did not get reset quite where we were expecting it to, so there's a little water collecting around there, so they did put that on the punch list for something to be addressed. So that's the most significant thing, but again, the rest was just some of the caulking, and there's some hardware for the windows, a couple pieces that were missing that we're waiting to get in. So all that looked really good. Enrollment, as of when I ran this on Friday, we were looking at K-12 at 419 and pre-K of 20. We now know that pre-K is 22. And last year at this time, we were at 425 K-12 and pre-K 18. Committee schedules and conferences. So we're working on finishing up, but we do have a preliminary committee schedule for the year, and you may have seen in your emails a lot of invites that came through. We did our best, and I believe we did avoid anybody having to come twice in a week. So we kind of got everything everything scattered out. Of course, with any school year, it's a little heavier September, October, December, and then January, and then kind of backs off. But so we have a preliminary schedule there, and we can talk if we need to tweak anything. One of the things I wanted to bring up to the board is in regard to conferences. So the Minnesota Rural Education Association, MREA, they do a lot for us and for our rural districts. Matter of fact, they're the ones that have headed up some different legislative proposals to include that offset that our farmers get on certain types of levies and a number of other things. There is a conference November 15th through the 17th in Brainerd. That is open, of course, to board members, so know that you're invited to that, and we can talk more if anybody wants to go. Of course, school administration, school staff. So we are looking at maybe bringing 3 or 4 people out there at different levels to be able to engage in some of the workshops and conversations, because what I learned this past year is that there's a lot there to be offered, and something I think we want to try and take advantage of. And then, of course, MSBA Leadership Conference on January 14th through 15th in Minneapolis. I know none of the board members went last year because I think maybe the year before some had gone. So if there is anybody looking at potentially going, then we can have that conversation to make sure we get you registered. Finally, I just wanted to talk about the permanent school fund. On your table, you're going to see a lot of little packets that kind of look the same, but if you look at them, you'll see that there are differences in the topics. So, permanent school fund, if you have not heard about this yet, it is going to be on the ballot in Minnesota because it is a constitutional amendment. So just some of the brief things about what it is, and then I'll talk about what we're doing to make sure that we have information out there for our community. It is not a tax increase. The fund exists. It was set up in 1858 with certain lands in northern Minnesota and southern Minnesota. At one point, most of the land in southern Minnesota was sold off as part of promoting agriculture and everything. There's still land up in northern Minnesota here that is part of this. There's been a formula in terms of how to give out this money to school. So it's based on per pupil. It's about $58 a pupil, but it does fluctuate from year to year. In 2010, this fund was at $675 million. Today, it's over $2.3 billion. And the reason for that is because the state has never increased the amount that's given out to schools. Therefore, the money just keeps accumulating. So under the current, the state entity that handles the funds and everything, this is a bipartisan movement to bring it to ballot, and it is going to the ballot because our voters are going to have to approve making a tweak so that up to about 4.5% annually of what's made on the fund can be distributed to schools. In the end, for us, it means the difference of about an additional $30 a student, which is about $12,000 a year. So it's not huge money, but we know every little bit matters and counts, right? And of course, this is not something where it opens up some can of worms and all of a sudden this fund's going to get blasted away and used up and everything else. They've got a very solid approach in terms of legislation and what can and cannot be done. So you have a lot of information there. I'm going to invite you folks and anybody who might be watching and listening to go out to the Minnesota School Boards Association website. They got a couple nice little minute and a half or so videos that explains it. They've got all this information. We're going to continue to keep talking about it to give information out, because one of the things I do want to make sure the school board understands and all of our employees is that this is looked at as if you would look at a school referendum or something in terms of what we're allowed to say or not say. As school leaders, we are allowed to give information. We're not allowed to try and convince people to vote yes or vote no. We shouldn't be doing any of those conversations beyond giving the information during school hours, of course. School staff, they can be on a vote yes or vote no kind of entity if they want to be, as long as they do that after school hours. But again, I just want to emphasize that this is not something that raises anybody's taxes, does not affect anybody's taxes. It's just about this school fund and using an appropriate level of the revenues that are generated on a yearly basis back out to schools, which is what it's intended for. Are there any questions by the board right now?
Am I correct on when this shows up on the ballot, not voting on it either way has to be counted as a no vote, correct?
That is correct. If a person does not check the box, so to speak, it is automatically counted as a no. And on the ballot, it's going to be the last item after all those judicial seats and all the other things. So it's my message out there is for people to make sure they get the information, and however they're going to vote, go through their whole ballot when they're voting.
This is like statewide, it's not by district, right?
That is correct. It is statewide. So it's nothing, again, doesn't affect any one district or any one area of the state more or less than another. And it is not tied to anybody's taxes or anything like that.
Great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I did a little fast one on Superintendent Fitzsimmons. We skipped A, which was board committees. Any board committees meet?
Facilities.
gentleman that facilities did, but he basically gave what we talked about, so. Okay, moving on, Principal Nosen.
Before Principal Nosen starts, I just want to confirm with the board that as of Friday, we did receive the administrative variance. So our Principal Nosen does officially hold a Minnesota principal's license right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I wanted to start by just trying to give as many thank yous as I can right now during this transition period. I apologize too for the notes that you received. I think Jill was pulling a fast one on me with that, but just kidding, that was just me. So hopefully you have my new notes now and we can go off of those, but I forgot Scott on there too, and I felt really bad. Scott has been a huge help and a mentor in this transition period, as well as Becky, Jill, Tracy, and Sam. Just want to give huge thank yous to them all, because we're all learning a lot of new things on the fly together, and it is some growing pains and some grieving all at once, and we're working really, really hard. Everybody's doing an amazing job. So I am so thankful for this team that we have here to support one another, but they're doing all the supporting for me right now. So hopefully I can repay them later on. So scheduling, both elementary and high school schedule discussions. So we've had a number of staff members that have stopped in and provided ideas and proposals, and I am all for that, wanting to hear as many ideas as I can so we can come up with the best option for right now, but looking ahead too of, making some positive changes later on. And, along those same lines, our staff has been working so hard to prepare for the school year. I try to keep my doors open so people can feel like they can stop in, even though we get this really cold draft that comes through the office. It's a small price to pay to be able to have some great conversations, and seriously, we've had lots of people in just trying to get ahead of the ball here and getting their classroom set up with all the rearranging of things, and lots of great conversations happening from home too. So staff members sending me some text messages later on. We're discussing some things, so lots of work going on in the background. So really happy that everybody has been trying to put that extra mile in for our students and making it a great year ahead of us. Tracy has just been outstanding with managing this huge influx of student emails that kind of came in prior to the hiring too, and holding them off a little bit until we could get things settled. And it's really good that the students are getting ahead of this instead of trying to make schedule changes on the first day of school, so we're really proud of them for that. And we're almost through all of them, I think, so hopefully we will have that all ready to go. I'm sure things will still come up, but we'll have our feet under us by the first day of school. But she's also been training me in all of our systems that we have in place, and that's obviously not her role either. So she's been going above and beyond with being able to check schedules and transcripts and all of my questions at the same time. So thank you so much to Tracy too. Our in-service days, I don't know if you have received a copy of this. I'm sorry, I should have sent that to you. If you haven't, I'm just going to go through it really quick. So Monday, August 31st is going to be our first day of in-service training for just our teachers that day. And we're going to be going through various committee meetings too, doing some NTSS data with our leadership group that we have there too, and some individual high school staff and elementary staff meetings too, and then some work time in the classrooms. So it'd be a good day to stop into and check things out if you're available. And then Tuesday is our open house night and meet the teacher night. So that day they're going to have a lot of time to get classrooms set up so they can be ready to go for everybody coming in. So might be a good time too if you want to stop in and see how things are shaping up, and hopefully see you guys at open house. That would be great. And then that same morning though, big thank you to Dollars for Scholars for providing breakfast for our staff there. So we're really excited. They're going to come and just do a little information for us and feed us at the same time. And then on Wednesday is going to be our heavy training day for all staff. So all staff will be in the building that day if you want to come in and see everybody too, but we're going to be doing a lot of work that day on all the things. And we have, I think some of you are going to be there for emergency response services, so we're going to be going over some of our standard response protocols, getting just our feet under us for that a little bit, and kind of developing more of that later on too. But we're excited to have EMS in and learn some more about safety and keeping us all safe here. And then enrollment efforts is my last item. So I've been reaching out to some area families, talking with some homeschooling families too, just to try and get a better understanding of maybe where those decisions came from and if we can support them in any other ways too. And had some really great conversations. So I think it's been a good thing to just reach out and talk a little bit. And then we have some Canadian initiatives that some of you might have been a part of those conversations too. So Mr. Fitzsimmons here has been able to find out more of the legal side of things to make sure we have all the bases covered there. And we've talked with some Canadian families as well, and some doors are open. So yeah, any questions for me right now? Okay, thanks for making it easy for me.
All right, next, athletic, Sam Lyon. The whole crew's back.
I know. The whole gang.
Yeah.
I also want to give Mrs. Nose on Shelby a shout out. She's had a cool, calm, collected head on her shoulders in what I can only assume is a wildly overwhelming moment. Not that you are not capable of it, but a lot to jump into. So appreciate your attitude. You're doing great. You're doing great. Okay, a few updates, a couple additions on this as well. A pre-K update, excited to say we have a full class. You heard 22 students. We are doing a little bit of shifting with some special ed designations as well, which is what is allowing us to do 22 as opposed to 20. We are following all the MDE rules and making sure that all ratios and group sizes are covered. So excited about that because it does mean we are serving all of the students who wanted to be a part of this. So excited about that. It does also mean, I hate to be the money monger in the room, but we are maximizing all of the money that we are allotted. We get 20 VPK, voluntary pre-kindergarten slots for that classroom, and we will be able to fill all 20 of those spots. So in terms of when you hear community ed budgetary things, that's part of my job, is trying to maximize the available money. There are other pots of money that we dip into for that classroom, but that structure, VPK slots, is one of the primary ways that we pay for that. So, excited about that. A few community ed updates. Pool has been a hop in place over the course of the summer. David will give you a full update at the end of September. That's his kind of designated month. He can give you a little perspective, which is almost exactly a year to when he was hired also. So that will be a good moment to hear from him about how it's gone. I mean, just huge numbers for group lessons and private lessons, and also some thoughts he's got about going forward. He and I sat down for a better part of 3 hours to do last week, the New Moon conference room, to do some focused discussion about how the year went, what he needs to be able to do his job better. And what's exciting is he has so many ideas and initiatives that the energy is fun, but it's also how do we manage that alongside the resources that we have, money, staffing, etc. So you'll hear more from him about that. We just finished up a summer musical theater program. We've run that a number of years now. We had 28 participants, which is our highest number yet. I love that group with a passion. They audition on Monday at 10 a.m. and they produce 2 shows, hour-long shows, on Friday night and Saturday. It is a miracle of student achievement, and the directors that we get out of, it's called Missoula Children's Theater, is who we contract with, are just remarkable people. So it really is a great program. It gets paid for through the Region 2 Arts Council grant that we have gotten the past 4 years. I don't know how many years we've been running it, but it's a good situation. It allows kids to kind of dip their toe into theater in a way that is less intense than committing to a 3-month production in the winter. So you tend to get a kind of wide variety of students in it. We could take anybody from kindergarten to have a few adults in it, which is fun. So it just is a really great, and it's all free for students, participants, and admission for the two productions on Friday and Saturday. Elementary football, we have a little bit of a different structure happening. The 3rd through 5th grade is actually doing some tackle football structure. That is a move to try and get our folks, our kids more prepared for once they hit 6th grade junior high football. There is some potential at some point that they, as a 3rd through 5th grade group, will become more of a independent youth hockey structure. Youth hockey being its own nonprofit. They are registered through like a USA Football. We are not there yet, but I fully support them wanting to make that move and go independent. It will allow them to make more specific financial decisions for themselves. It will give them more structure in terms of their registration. It will give them more teams to play. So we are right now in a little bit of a middle ground where they're still covered and we're doing all the things within community ed, but we are at some point, maybe even as early as next year, potentially transitioning them into an independent organization. I do not see that as a quote-unquote loss for community ed at all, right? If there's a way that I can support them to being a kind of more focused group, like a youth hockey runs the same way, I think that that's, we should be doing that for community structures. We will still run, I think, 1st and 2nd grade. We won't have kindergarten football, but it'll be 1st and 2nd grade community ed football will still be run through community ed. I think that will probably stay the same. And that's strict flag football. Okay, driver's education. You approved a driver's education contract last month. I was not here. Just wanted to check in. I think that it is a model where we have our students take an online course, and then this place, A+ Driving, which is a Minnesota-based company, has hired Dale Breeny locally to do the behind the wheel. Honestly, I think it is the best. It is just a really great option for what we've got. It does not force kids to have to take a class at a specific time of year. They can take it whenever they turn 15, which was part of the challenge. Nobody wanted to wait till June. And then they coordinate with A+ and Dale to schedule their behind the wheel hours. It's a win for A+. They're starting to kind of branch out into different parts of the state. It's a win for us in terms of contracting with a really quality organization to do driver's ed. So appreciate you approving that. You have already said yes. But I just wanted to say I think that's a good model for us as a school district in terms of serving our students in that way. I mentioned elementary football. I forgot to put on there, we will run elementary cross-country camp. That's usually a once-a-week thing, as well as elementary volleyball that is happening throughout the course of this fall. Those will start a little bit later into the season, but those are happening. We also, with the help of the Wellness Committee, Jill, I just surprised Jill. Jill and me and Micah and Tracy are going to work into some adult education classes. This is definitely a spot in our community education offerings that we lack significantly. We are not running off the deep end, but have a concept, so I'll maybe tease you with a little bit of concept of how do we work with local businesses to be offering classes that can help our adult populations. The best example is partnering with like a border bank to offer anti-fraud cases, which is a benefit to Border Bank, is a promotion for them, is also a really quality piece of information that I think community members would enjoy. So that's a concept. We have not confirmed a ton or dates or anything, but excited about the work that the Wellness Committee is doing to move that forward. Okay, that's my community ed. Any questions on any of that? Okay, cool. Fall sports. We are in the thick of it. Volleyball just went to Bemidji today for their scrimmage, which is super exciting. I have not heard how they did, but I will.
I don't know why you're looking at me.
Yeah, you don't know either? Okay, fair enough. I'm not the only one out of the loop. A few fun dates to put on your radar in the next 10 days. So cross country is having their home cross country meet at Zipple Bay. I love this because it is a kind of convergence of school stuff and Zipple Bay, which I'm a big our state park fan. Jenny Skoog and Sarah Pearson, our coaches, set up the course at Zipple Bay. It's a beautiful spot. They begin and end the race at the main beach down there. It's super fun. That starts at 10 a.m. Junior high races go first. Varsity races happen after that. So if you get the chance to come on out, it really is a fun thing to see. You get to, I think we got Bagley, International Falls, Rosa, Warroad can't come, us, Trek North, Cass Lake, Bena coming up. So a good crew of schools from a different crowds, so it should be a fun one. The other date is September 3rd. It's a week from this coming Thursday. We're doing a fall home game kickoff. So volleyball is going to go early, quote unquote. C team 7th grade will start at 3, JV varsity or JV 8th grade at 4, and then the varsity game is at 5:30. And once you're done with that, you can hustle on over to the football match, which will start at 7. So I'm just excited that all of that is happening at the same time. So September 3rd, come on out. There's a deal. You pay for one ticket, you get both games. So yeah, I think that'll be a really fun way to kind of kick back off our football program. As you know, we've been a JV program for the last 2 years, and this is our first year back at varsity. So excited for that. We are working in a new registration and scheduling system. You will see that our athletic schedules look different. It's called Bound. We are all learning together. I will say it is a relatively easy program to learn, but appreciate the patience from parents, kids, the crowd as we learn all of that. Long term, it will be the right call. It's just much more synchronized across platforms, as well as is just much more user-friendly. You, as a user, will be able to see game scores and some stats inbound, so you don't have to go hunt on a Max Preps to find out how the volleyball team did, things like that. So it'll be a good thing. Like I said, still learning some kinks. And then homecoming is going to be September 28th through October 2nd. We'll kick off that week with a home volleyball game against Cass Lake Bena, and it will end in a home football game against, I forgot who, Northern Freeze? Question mark. But that Friday will be a home football game. So yeah, that's what I got. I am looking forward to a good fall. Got a lot of good fun stuff planned. Any questions on any of that? Your meetings are inevitably longer when I'm around, so I apologize for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, we will adjourn this at 6:44.
Wait 1 minute.
I just want to acknowledge that point that today, your 6:45 time.
This Thursday, it starts at 10 a.m. It's so fun.
Okay, at 6:45, we'll call the meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Need a motion and a second to approve the August 24, 2026 meeting agenda with the addition of item 7C I3 to hire Tammy Nelson as a PM custodian.
Make the motion.
Motion by B. Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Sonstagard. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Board presenters, written communication, old business. Okay, we'll go on to new business. I need a motion and a second to approve the July 27, 2026 regular board meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson,
Second.
second by B. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? motion and a second to approve the invoices, financial statements, bank reconciliation, wire transfers, and purchase card statements.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Severs,
I'll second.
second by Hayes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the appointments, registrations, and retirements. And can I just go as written? As written there.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson,
Second.
second by B. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the increase in adult lunch price to $5.50.
On the motion.
Motion by Sonstagard,
Second.
second by B. Johnson. Any discussion on that?
What was it?
$5.05?
It was $5. Well, it was.
There was
increased
something
in the
proposed.
summer, which doesn't necessarily translate into the normal school year, but this was the MDE's minimum we are supposed to charge.
The 550 is.
Yeah, that's the minimum MDE recommendation to charge. Does that make sense?
Any more discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the 2026-27 contract with Thiel, it's Thiel, right? Photography.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson, second by Hack. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to set the date for truth in taxation hearing for Monday, December 21st, 2026 at 6 p.m. in the ITV room.
On the motion.
Motion by Sonstagard,
Second.
second by B. Johnson. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the preventative maintenance proposal with Peterson Sheet Metal for 9/1/26 through 8/31/28.
Make the motion.
Motion by B. Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Severs. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the following policy updates as listed.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson,
Second. Sure.
second by B. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the contract with Creative Planning for payroll and business managers services.
On the motion.
Motion by Sonstagard,
I'll second.
second by Severs. All, well, not all in favor, but any
Discussion?
discussion?
Can I ask a question? Is there an effective date for that?
Yes, October 1. So the first contract is October 1 through June 30.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any more discussion or clarification? No? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Any other business? No other business. We will adjourn at 6:50 p.m.
Could have taken a picture of that look you gave me, Jeremy.
Put it in the paper or?